Hello. Hello. I'm just sorting this out. Just give me a minute. Notifications, turn them down. Yeah, right. I can't stay on long because it seems I cannot go live on the original device I'm supposed to. So I'm gonna have to do two separate lives. If that's okay. What I'll be doing is I'll be doing a live with Philip Cham. He is a qualified, he's a published author, award-winning author, and he can get things to number one. Pretty watching so far. LOL, Jenny, Paul, Adam. Sorry about that, guys. Adam, Becky, hello, LOL. Hope you're doing well. Right, so this is only a short one. I'm gonna do it in two halves. This one. Obviously, I'm gonna bring one of them on, which gonna be Philip, and then probably the second part, Adam Richards. Adam Richards is the original Red Power Ranger back in the 90s, early 2000s. So yeah. If one of you two want to come on, that's absolutely fine. I'm just inviting some people as we speak now. Please share this, by the way. And this will be uploaded to YouTube. Yes. So let's see who can. Right, there's no one there at the minute. Let's just see if I can. Live now. LOL. I am here. Philip's just messaged me, seeing where I am. I'm live now. Just inviting some people as we speak. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Tagged you. Philip's just having a bit of technical difficulties with his notification, but will be here very shortly. So anyway, hope everyone is sounds up playing. Guys, is the audio okay? Give me some hearts or thumbs up if the audio is fine. Give me some thumbs up or something if the audio is fine. Please let me know, because I need this to be absolutely spot on tonight. I have got a schedule. Is here now, Philip? Hello. I can't bring you on, Phil, for some reason. You've not got a camera next to you. So please, if you can, go onto a different device where I can, because I don't know what you're using. But please all share this. This all needs sharing. For some lagging. I can see you and hear you. Right, brilliant. Phil, I just... it's probably you, Elizabeth. So if you want, jump off the live and then come back on. That'd be fine. But yeah, as I say, please share this. This will be fantastic. Phil, I cannot bring you on for nothing. You've not got a camera next to you for me to invite you. But like I said, this is only going to be a short video. I say about 25, half an hour at the max. Because I can't use the device I was supposed to be using tonight. Because it won't let me go live on that device. This is why I'm going to have to use the phone, and the charger port is a little bit broken on this. So yeah, so bear with me guys, I will go on my phone. Yeah, that'll be fine, Phil. Yes, please do. Yeah, oh, like I said, everyone is having a fantastic day. Yeah, I don't know if anyone, I know, there he is. Add, there you go. Right, I'm Phil. But like I said, guys, this is on a public live video. Winning Philip Chan.
Hello.
Good evening.
Okay. Good evening. Let me turn my tablet off now. So I'm going to be on my phone. Good evening, Adam. So hopefully I'm on my phone now, so you can see me and hear me.
I can hear you loud and clear. I can see you, and
Great.
It's fantastic.
Right. Fantastic. Well, thank you for having me on. So I was a bit surprised, but it's good to see you and talk to you. And good to talk and just share a few things.
Yep. Yeah. Obviously, like I was saying, you are an award-winning author. It's just getting your story out there, mate. Because obviously, like, probably half of these people that's tuned in don't even know who you are. Half the time, I don't even know who I am, to be honest.
I don't know who I am, so that's all right.
Exactly. Obviously, yeah, I've seen your live videos before. You're very knowledgeable when it comes to maths and teaching. Like I've seen your classes and stuff like that, and I think they're amazing.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Well, I think my claim to fame, that's when I was at school, I was bottom in every subject, including maths.
Yeah.
So that fact today I'm known as the 10-second maths expert, in the world. Even sometimes when I think about that, I thought, well, wow, how did that happen?
Yeah. So,
but more important.
Go on.
But more importantly, over 45 years, I've been lucky enough to share my journey and share some of the things I've learned with lots of people, and they have gone way, way beyond me. Obviously, 2 years ago, I had a 50. Well, I say 15. He's only turned 15 4 days ago. He was 13 then, and he's my business partner, Trey Sean Ben Selmy. So we co-written a book 2 years ago, and it's actually this book called 10 Seconds to Child Genius. It took us 5 days to write the book. And when we launched it on Amazon, we had a notification then that we become on the best-selling list after 2 hours 11 minutes. And yet, if I look at Trey Sean's story, back in his primary school days. Now, remember, he just turned 15 a couple of days ago. He was so shy that he wouldn't even talk to his family. And so and then obviously in 2017, well, actually, he made a very brave decision to say, "Hey, I'm going to put myself out there to improve myself." So he went through all the uncomfortable things, and then in 2017 on the Channel 4 Child Genius program, he reached the top 20 finalists, and then obviously we written the book, and that's been amazing. Since then, in the last 2 years, he's now written 6 more books.
What have I done with my life?
well, Adam, it's taken me over half a century to write 9 books. He's now written 7 books in total in 3 years. He's now got 3 businesses,
Yeah.
and he and his family's got their own publishing company.
Yeah. Wow. It's fascinating how all this young talent is suddenly just popping up and putting us older generation to shame. That's how I can
Well,
see it.
you see, one of the key thing is really his is their mother, Sabrina, because gave them the platform to let their talent grow, and
Yeah.
she and her nan Mary Paul, they were so supportive. These children was also messing up in trying things, but they just encouraging all the way. And in the last 5 6 years, they have grown so much. In fact, Trey Sean's youngest brother, who's now just turned 6, 2 years ago, when he published his book at age 4, he was the youngest male author in the world. And and just and this is the book, you know, and this is the young man at age 4.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's a very shy, lovely shy person. But again, he took the plunge to do things to get out of the comfort zone. And I think the message is, on when I do my talks and lectures and get to speak, I always talk about the 3 A's. The first A is about
Yeah.
atmosphere. When you are with people who are in a non-threatening atmosphere, let you grow, are very supportive, then you don't mind having a go doing new things.
Yeah. It's
So, so it's important that you surround yourself with the right sort of people who are always encouraging and who are not belittling you and not condemning you every mistake you make. And they realize that in order to improve in life, you've got to make mistakes, you know, and but they're to support you, not to belittle you. And unfortunately, when I, as a teacher for over 45 years, sometimes when I listen to some of the parents' language, I'm absolutely shocked. What they say to their kids. They're so condemning. You could do better than this. Why can't you do better? That was stupid. You silly so and so on. And all this negative language goes in,
it does.
and
It does.
before, and especially before the age of 5 or 7, all these language goes negative comments go in. The child accepts as the truth, especially in the first 3 years when they have no rational reasoning behind them. Everything that goes in the subconscious mind, they accept as the truth. You know, and I'm always shocked when I walk around and listen to some of the people speaking to the kids and also even their colleagues. The language is actually as shocking. As I said, I've been a teacher now for over 45 years, and occasionally I get shocked by what some of my colleagues are saying to the pupils. And these are professional teachers. They're very caring people, but sometimes because they haven't been trained properly to actually how to say things, it's not and also the way you say it's important.
It is. It is.
So, so what
It has
Sabrina?
more. It has more of an impact on children who have got like special needs. For example, autism. I can
Mhm,
say that. Yeah, it does have more of an impact on that because obviously I've lost a lot of friends in my time because of my disabilities. Obviously, um, I've gone 20. I think it's 27 years not knowing I have Asperger's, which is
mhm,
obviously
mhm,
similar to autism. Um, and obviously, I'm now growing to accept that I have. Even though I've gone 27 years not knowing I have it, I have to
mhm.
now rebuild myself like I'm born again. And I have to start
Yes.
learning to accept that I have it.
When people have Asperger's or autism, they have a different learning brain.
Yeah,
And in fact, sometimes a number of people have autism got actually a photographic memory. But because not a lot of people understand that, you know, they don't know how to actually enhance or develop that side, and because they learn differently. It's not that stupid. Yeah, this is the point. We learn differently, and it's to recognize that if it's like right now, if I was talking to you in Chinese, you know, you, it's just a lot of garbage to you because you don't understand what I'm talking about. because you don't speak Chinese. But in the same way, when someone got Asperger's or autism, the people that's talking to them, without realizing how to communicate them in the way that effectively, are doing exactly the same thing. And then we start labeling people as dumb, stupid, you know,
Yeah.
because we don't understand. They're still learning, but they need to learn in a slightly different way. And that is
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, they see things. For example, a piece of Lego. Somebody who hasn't got autism, they just think it's just a brick. But somebody who does have autism, they see it in a different way. They see the angle of it, the measurements. They see
Yeah.
literally all different kinds of just that one tiny brick.
Yes. I mean, this years ago, I can't remember. It must be 20, even 30 years ago. There was a program on a young kid called Stephen, someone I can't remember the surname. He's autistic, but he's got a photographic memory. Building, and literally in seconds, we draw the building. They did two experiments with him. They actually flown him on a helicopter around the city of London, just one quick flyby, and afterward he was just drawing buildings after buildings that he's never seen before. And
Wow.
he was meant to pick out the details from the top of the building that people can't even see. And people said, "Well, no, that's not there." But when they went up to the top of the building in the corner, they actually discovered all these stones had decorative things in that normally no one sees. And yet on the fly pass, picked it out.
Yeah.
And they did the same thing. They took him to Rome. Obviously the country he's never been for as a little kid, and they did the same thing, and he did exactly the same thing. You know,
Yeah, definitely.
so so we need to recognize, you know, we do things differently because in human nature, when we learn things, that's one of three things. We either delete, distort, or generalize. There's a time and a place how to do that. Because there's so much information coming into, it's important that sometimes we delete certain information, but sometimes when we delete the wrong information, we miss the obvious.
Yeah.
So one
Yeah.
of the challenge for educators and also parents is, learn if you're doing something and you're not getting a result for your child, look at how you could do the same but differently. And you
Yeah.
see, Trayshawn and I been running maths workshop for the last year and so on. And some of the kids say, I can't do maths. Even adults say, I can't do maths. And within 5 minutes, we can change their mindset. And some of the kids were doing most of our four figures by four figure in under 10 seconds in their head. Yeah, and
See,
but last year we went.
yeah, well, my son, he's 7 years old. He's 8 in January, and when he was at school last year, he was coming home saying all these fractions, decimals,
Mm,
percentages. He was doing all that, and it's like I was saying, I was like to like that. It's like at 7 years old, I couldn't do that, but he's coming home doing all
well,
this. He
I
could
mean,
count, yeah.
I could never write a book at age 4. I couldn't even read a book at age 4.
Well,
And
Well, obviously, when he was in reception, he was 4 years old at the time. His teacher was teaching. There was 30 kids in that class, and they could only count to 10. But my son could
mm,
count to 100 forwards
mm,
and backwards in reception at 4 years old.
yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, exactly. One of my friends, two kids, when they were 9 years old, they're twins, uh, Peter and Paula. When they were kids in junior school, the teachers told them they were dumb. And also Paula was a young black girl, and her teacher said, "What do you want to do?" And she said she wanted to learn science. And then basically, the teacher said, "No, first of all, you're a black girl, and and you're not that smart. Don't forget it." So that's coming from a teacher. It was really well, it's horrifying,
Well, well,
But
obviously, I
but
was I were going to talk about autism tonight, but now we've practically started on it.
mm,
Obviously, there was one point when my son was in school. Obviously, he's been homeschooled now. and he has done for the past few months. But thing is, his teacher assaulted him,
Mm,
and instead of me escalating it, I had a word with him. I put in straight away a freedom of information request in,
mm-hmm,
in knowing in what qualification has his class teacher got in handling the
mm.
autistic child. And when I got it back a month later, no teachers in that school had qualifications about autism. None.
There are very few teachers in the whole country that's got any real training. Unfortunately, it's the system. It's not the fault of the teacher. It's the fault of the system. You know, because obviously teachers are trained in a particular way, and if that training is not there when they're taught, and then once you get into teaching, there's so much administration now that you haven't got really time to look at other stuff. Unless you basically have no life at all. You
Well,
know. Um.
when I'm taking my daughter to school, I'm always talking to parents, always, and I keep telling them the exact same. The system, like the councils, local authority, whoever, they are failing special needs children
Mm,
because the
yes.
amount of kids with special needs that are getting kicked out of mainstream school,
Yes.
phenomenal, percentages up.
Yes, I mean, one of my granddaughters, is now 15, then has the same thing, and she's been kicked out a number of times, Obviously, I'm sad, I'm not allowed to get involved in her thing, but that's another story. Yeah, you're right. It's the lack of information training, and also if you look at the change in the system in the last 12 years by the government, they're putting so much unnecessary pressure on teachers then they don't really. It's all exam results driven, and if they don't hit a certain mark by a certain time, then the teachers are deemed as useless teachers, and that's wrong, because you know kids do not learn in a straight line. We go up and down, you know. But if you expect to every half term or every term, the improvement is always going up. That's unrealistic. Life doesn't happen like that. Life is a series up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah. See, I believe
School is
I believe the system needs to change. The educational system needs to change, and instead of just focusing on good grades and perfect children, because
yes,
there's no such thing as the word normal or perfect. There's no such meaning of
ex,
it.
ex, ex,
And
interesting in Sweden. In
yeah,
Sweden, there's no testing go on. They don't do any homework, and yet emotionally they are much better. And actually, by the age of about 14 to 16, they have much better standard of education than the UK.
well, they should look for the well-being, the best in that child. Like for example, the
Yeah.
last bit of pressure the mainstream school put on my son is when he did his year two maths. Now straight away,
Mm,
I believe doing exams like in year two is out of order.
mm.
They're too young for
Yeah.
it.
It's testing formally too early. You can have tests, but don't make it formally too early. And this is
Well,
what is wrong with the
yeah.
system.
Well, obviously, they did pull us about a week before they started the stats with him, and they said to me, promised us they weren't going to give it him all at once, just to overload him. They were going to
Hmm.
treat it like it's just a normal lesson. But
Hmm.
then he did all those SATs exams except for his last one. He didn't do it, but he passed anyway. He passed flying colours,
Mm,
but he had to have 2 days off
mm.
because he had a sensory overload because they
Yeah,
were just
yeah.
piling all that information in, and it's not good for him.
No, we're testing too early and too much formal testing. There's, as I said, there's nothing wrong with testing in a sort of a light-hearted way in the minors to just see how things are, But when you do it formally, that puts us a lot of pressure. My friend Professor Chris in Methadone say something actually when we were on Sky TV a couple of years ago. Something he said actually I think it's really true. One of the best things for the UK education is to scrap not having a Minister of Education, and the reason is every 4 years, or not even every 4 years, every now and then there's a change of Minister of Education. Now, unfortunately, because the ego involved, lots of those people want to put their stamp on their system, so they will change things for the sake of changing, not because it's doing the education system any good, because they say, well, I'm the new minister. In order to put my stamp on, I will change things. So this is my system, and that it caused havoc, for so long. It doesn't matter which party, irrespective of the parties, this has been a fault. And also the moment they are, promoted to the Minister of Education, they're deemed as the expert, and that's rubbish, you know. And lots of, in fact, look at the whole of the history of the UK. There's only been one education minister who's ever had any experience in education, and that was Estelle Morris. And she resigned, saying she didn't feel she had enough experience. So it's come back to the system, you know.
Wow, it is. This is why I believe, because like I was saying, to a couple of people, because I'm not happy in how that ed teacher has handled my son's education, because
Mm,
he was unlawfully excluded because of his autism, and obviously he's got a
mm,
speech and language diagnosis as well, where he can't fully talk, because that's probably down to his autism. I don't know. So yeah, he did
yeah.
use violence. He did use violence to communicate, but so does millions and millions of other
Mm,
autistic children. They use violence to communicate, and
mm,
he was unlawfully excluded for that. So I believe
mm,
he was excluded by breaching the Discrimination Act.
yeah. Well, you see that if you look at the growth of home education now in the last 10 years, there's a growth in that. And interesting enough, in the small percentage of parents who really know what they're doing, their children has really excelled above the normal. Basically, the most important is about the emotional side. Because they have the emotional stability, they will start learning at a much quicker rate than the people at the normal, so-called normal school, who are put under enormous pressure. You know, and also, as I said, I've been involved in education for a long time, and I can see the changes that's happened so rapidly. And sometimes the changes in theory is great, but if something need 10 years to put in, you can't do that in under 6 months. You know, and so you got people who's in charge of the decision making. They don't understand how the learning process actually work, and they're uh, putting schemes that looks great on paper, but in the practicality, it doesn't work.
Exactly. This is why the best thing my son ever got was something called an educational healthcare plan, which obviously is a lawful document. And obviously, when he was last excluded from school, I started bringing all this up. Like, for example,
Yes,
Section 9 of his educational healthcare plan, he needs to have his one-to-one teacher with him all the time, whether he goes in crisis or not.
yes.
And the head teacher basically turned around and stated, I don't care about his educational healthcare plan. You can throw all these terms at me and all that. And it's just, she just doesn't understand. And she's supposed to be the
Mm.
second call, which obviously is going against her own code of conduct.
Well, unfortunately, the previous few governments are putting pressure on the hitting targets.
Yeah,
So rather than actually letting children develop in the more natural way, it's become like a factory assembly line. It's all about tick boxes now.
yeah.
I've gone to two schools in trouble, and basically because of the situation, I was basically given free reign to how to teach. And basically, one school I went after Easter, and basically I had to obviously retaught a 2-year GCSE course in year 11 in the 7 weeks, and I had I was teaching two classes, and basically all of them passed A star to C, except for 5 pupils who actually got grade D.
Cool.
And then I went to another school that should have eight maths teachers, but we only have three. And so I was teaching half the year at the time, so 5 classes of about 120, 130 kids a time, and only with 7 weeks, 7, 8 weeks to go through the exam. and managed to improve the exam result by 17%, because I had a total free reign. After that, be deemed to go back in line, you know. And in fact, some of the methods I tried to teach, the speed method, the speed math method I was trying to teach, I came close to getting sacked at 2 schools. You know, even though the kids love it, I got results. You know, um, I came close to actually teaching things that's better, more fun, but it didn't.
Yeah.
But it didn't follow the normal procedure.
It is. It's wrong. It is. It's totally wrong, and
Yeah.
the system needs
So,
changing. It does. It needs
oh,
changing.
absolutely, Adam. It really, really needs changing. But it needs someone brave enough who are don't not looking after the back, because every education minister are looking after their own back, and not what is good for the kids, but what is good for their career.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Well.
I
Well.
mean,
What I'll do
if
is
you look at,
I'll just read few comments because I haven't been
mhm.
reading whatsoever. How rude of me. Home educational Netherlands approach. SJ's put, I believe in kids being kids, no formal education, no sitting in uncomfortable chairs in stiff uniforms, ignoring bodily and emotional needs for hours and end the room with four walls. That's not okay or natural, mostly learning. BS.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you see, that's what I say. Sweden, they have no homework and no testing, you know, and their education standard is far, far higher than the UK.
It is. It is. Dawn, to your comment, this live is basically about. We've got the great Philip Chan here. I will be bringing Adam Richards on very shortly, and obviously it has to be a two-part video because that device just doesn't want to go live. I don't know why. So it's two-part, but yeah, we're just talking about how the educational system is failing
Yeah.
special needs kids.
Well, he says, coming back to my business partner, Trey Sean, as I said, when he was at primary school, he was so shy that he wouldn't uh, talk to his family. And also his older sister, who's now 19, she was very, very bad. Actually, all their children was bullied at school, but the school
Yeah.
would not take responsibility for that, you know, and they actually will stigmatize them, so therefore, but yet, obviously the mum has now taken the decision to home tutor their kids, and as a
Mm.
result now, all five kids now, they are published authors. Uh, since publishing the book 2 years ago, The 10 Seconds to Child Genius, Trey Shaw now has written 6 more books himself. He's got 3 businesses running, and them as a family, they have now got their own publishing company. You know, uh, uh, had they remained in the normal education system, you know, that they wouldn't have a hoping chance, because people don't understand, you know. So, and this has happened to a number of other people as well.
It does. It does. Obviously,